Hey up, Rayvers. Welcome to the brand new series of Ray Reviews. Are we all in need of a little bit of escapism? Because have I got a vacation for you. We're off to Westworld.
Why don't you make arrangements to take our hovercraft to medieval world, Roman world, and Westworld? Was it worth $1,000 a day?
$1,000 a day? That's back in the 70s, I know. Don't know what the inflation rate would make of that now. $1,000 a day. I certainly couldn't afford to go on holiday like that. We used to have to make do with going to places like Skeggy or Blackpool, you know. But Delos is this luxury holiday resort with these 3 different zones, a bit like Crystal Maze really. They got Roman world, medieval world, and of course Westworld. And all these different worlds are populated by robots who are there to help you fulfill your fantasies. So Westworld is almost like a cross between the American Adventure, which were a Wild West theme park near Ilkeston in Derbyshire.
The American Adventure Theme Park.
To be wild.
And the Hard Luck Bear Show, which were a music and comedy show performed by animatronic bears at the Blackpool Pleasure Beach in the 80s. My daughter Maxine and sister were going to watch it. It was bloody weird. There were more animatronic bears on stage than there were folk in the audience. We were the only buggers in there. Now, as much as my daughter Maxine loved the animatronic bears, she hated the animatronic clown in that booth at the Pleasure Beach. Scared the crap out of her, it did. Mind you, I'm not surprised. Sinister that, isn't it? Very sinister.
Welcome to Delos.
Any road, as we arrive in Delos, our protagonists seem to be a weaselly looking bloke with what looks like a fake moustache, and a much more impressive, suave, laid-back character played by James Brolin. Yeah, he looks very suave and laid-back, very confident, very James Bond-like. Here's a film fact for you. He had an audition as Bond back in the 80s. It would have been crap with an American accent, but you can see he's very Bond-esque the way he carries his scent, isn't he?
Hello, you still there? Well, I had a little trouble with the line. Yes, it's been fixed now.
And they pop all their belongings in these lockers and get dressed up in these Wild West outfits. Folk wouldn't be able to do that now, would they? They wouldn't be able to live without the phones for a day, would they? Wouldn't be able to live without the phones for 20 minutes. Everybody'd be swanning around Westworld and medieval world taking sennies, wouldn't they? But Westworld allows these visitors to pursue all their fantasies, whether it's having it off with robot prostitutes or murdering folk.
Kill him.
And they love murdering Yul Brynner. He gets murdered loads. They have to keep checking him back for repairs just so he can get fixed in order to get murdered again. But he gets pretty nagged off with it. Hey, it's funny though, isn't it, that one of the most iconic screen cowboys in movie history is played by a Russian bloke. And throughout the whole time, they're being watched by the control room, who's just making sure that the park is running safely. And presumably they watch him having it off with the robot prostitutes. No, don't they? That's a bit perv, isn't it? Now, it doesn't seem to be great working conditions for these blokes in the control room, because every time it cuts to the control room, it's the same blokes there, whether it's 6 a.m. in the morning or midnight. You know, they're working long hours, these folk. I'd be on to union if it were me. Yeah, working them long hours under fatigue, they're going to make mistakes, ain't they? They're going to miss things. And sure as eggs is eggs, things start to go tits up at Delos, and the robots start malfunctioning. This one won't have it off with a guest. The snake bites James Brolin.
That's not supposed to happen.
But the senior management, very blasé about it, very reluctant to lock things down.
I feel we should shut down the resort for a month.
Oh, that seems rash.
They've put profits over the health and safety of the customers, ain't they?
But we can ensure their safety. Everything's fine.
Charles says. But the overworked staff are powerless to do anything about it. Look at them, the temperature, obviously too hot where they're working. It should be a maximum of 21 degrees, I think, isn't it, in the regulations? And things start to head for disaster when the robots start murdering people. And you know it's got really serious when Yul Brynner's finally had enough and kills James Brolin. The stakes are raised then, ain't they? One of the stars has been bumped off. Suddenly things are serious. And basically, the premise of this, the theme park gone tits up. The idea's been completely ripped off by Jurassic Park. I thought whoever's written Westworld must be livid with Jurassic Park nicking their ideas. And then I found out it's by the same bloke, Michael Crichton. He's just ripped off his own idea and done it again, but scribbled out robots and put dinosaurs in instead. Can you plagiarise, you saying? Is that allowed, is it? I don't know. I don't know enough about plagiarism. Any road, the blame for this disaster at this theme park can be laid at the feet of the senior management, can't it? They were too slow to lock down, and it's resulted in disaster. You know, if that were the real world, they'd be held accountable. Yeah, there'd be a big review into it, wouldn't there? And they'd be up in front of one of them select committees, going around the fucks, and they'd be held accountable, because there's no way in the real world that folk could get away with such gross negligence that had such an impact on people's lives. Now, the rest of the film involves the Tashi bloke running for his life to evade a psychotic robot Yul Brynner. And this is where you can see that Westworld has been very influential in terms of other sci-fi films. The relentlessness of the gunslinger is very reminiscent of the Terminator. And seeing his point of view through the pixelated viewfinder, very much like Predator, that, isn't it? And the fact that the gunslinger won't die, he keeps coming back at the end. That's been ripped off by every slasher movie going, that ain't it? Now, I weren't sure how I felt when I saw the guests getting murdered when the robots flipped out. Because these guests had paid $1,000 a day to have it off with robot prostitutes and murder folk. So I didn't have a whole lot of sympathy for them, to be honest with you. Yeah, I think there might have been a bunch of arseholes who had it coming to them. I reckon there might be a little bit of social commentary there from Michael Crichton. Hey, can you imagine if Michael Crichton had written a third film about a malfunctioning and psychotic hard luck bear show going around Blackpool Pleasure Beach murdering everybody? So, on to Ray's ratings. Well, I were hoping this would be quite good, so I were expecting at least a 3-star film, because this is exactly the sort of thing I like. A depressing 1970s science fiction film. Don't ask me why, just do. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was terrific. So I'm rating Westworld a 4-star, 3-star film. Yeah, very influential film, Westworld. Loads of other sci-fi films have nicked elements off it. Spawned a sequel. And they've done a TV series of it in the last few years. But it's a lot more adult orientated, I believe.
You and everyone you know were built to gratify the desires of the people who pay to visit your world.
You know, it has graphic violence and lewd themes. So, yeah, another programme that Denise probably won't let me watch. So that were Westworld. But join us next week for a request as we pop up to Newcastle to get Carter. Where are you, bugger? Where are you, bugger? Yeah, apologies to any Rayvers from Newcastle. That was terrible, weren't it? Anyway, if you like this video, smash the like button. Why do the young'uns always say smash it? You do what you want to the like button. Tickle it if you want. Tickle the like button. Prod it. Poke it. Poke the like button. Share it with your mates. And subscribe to my channel. Click subscribe. Yeah. And then you won't miss out on any future videos. No. Anyway, I will see you next week. Okeydoo. Are you off to bed then, love? Yeah, I'll be up in a minute.
Northern England and into the East Midlands. A slushy mix of rain, sleet and wet snow further south, mostly across the highest ground.
With graphic violence and lewd themes from the outset, Westworld on Sky Atlantic.
Lewd thieves. I thought you got to bed, love.